Well, good evening. Thank you for allowing us to be here. This is Krista Grant, our clerk too. She's assisting me tonight and does our financials at the same time. We'll get right to the slides. Go ahead, flip it. Yep. So our department structure, CVB, we have the tourism, sales division, services division, marketing division, admin as well. As everyone knows, FY19 was a transitional year for the CVB. I want to thank the mayor's office, the council members certainly for stepping in, and also the team at the CVB. They have 165 years of combined tourism experience, and it really showed in FY19 and will continue to show in future years as well. But going through that transition was not easy, so I thank you all for going through that. Look at our workforce. Our workforce has remained stable. We're also looking at 14 members next year. We have 3 vacancies currently. And we look at 8 females, 2 minorities. The 3 vacancies that we have is a sales position, a tourism marketing position as well, and a marketing manager position. Tourism is an economic engine. According to the Illinois Office of Tourism, 2017 stats, visitors in Sangamon County spent $449 million, generated $8.9 million in local tax revenues. We employ just over 3,400 people. The visitor tax funds that the CVB budget delivers covers the entire CVB budget, approximately $1.5 million back to the city. Also includes a percentage for Public Works and Oak Ridge Cemetery. Truly a revenue generator, tourism. FY19 sales levels and accomplishments for our sales division. You can see up there, Amy, Caitlin, Paula, Melissa, and Terry. They had 4,465 direct meeting and event planner contacts in FY19, hosted 18 site visits. That could be the auto industry, medical, association, you name it. These are all have to have set itineraries, planning, obviously coming in, assisting the planners as they come to town. We had 18 of those in FY19. We generated 13 qualified leads representing 50,658 rooms. So these are qualified leads, which we hope, which we do in the next line, is we make definite. And so in FY19, we made definite 184 conventions, meetings, totaling 50,877 room nights. To put that in economic impact numbers, it's about $10 million in economic impact in FY19.
Were those conventions and meetings that were new this year, or are they repeated every year?
They could be repeats as well. That's not necessarily just new business, but that is retention as well. So obviously retention just as important as the recruitment side, right. Although we are putting a lot more emphasis on the recruitment heading into FY20. The highlight, I think everyone will certainly agree, was the 2018 National Bikers Roundup. We had about 25,000 attendees in early August, about a $2 million impact, economic impact. And then we just made definite the 2020 National Truck Historical Society National Convention in 2020. That'll be Memorial Day in 2020. It's about 2,400 room nights. It's a great time. It won't, we know we have the Springfield Mile, but that won't cross over. We have plenty of rooms in town. Actually, that'll fill that weekend where we've had weekends that, Memorial Day weekends in the past that haven't gone unfull. So we will fill that weekend in 2020. And 2020 is shaping up to be a record-breaking year for sure. Our service division, that's Sheila, Paula, Allison. They do registration, name badges. They have convention services, logistics, you name it. This is the department that comes in. So our sales department sells the business, right? And then when the business comes to town, we service that business. And not only just definite business, but also prospective business as well. So they're on the service side on both ends. We put a lot on the definite when they get to town, but we also have to have that pre-convention servicing as well. So definite serviced in FY19, 165 conventions and meetings representing 45,000 room nights. Developed tour itineraries, 373 adult groups equaling 12,092, I should say, people. and 1,985 youth groups representing 85,169 adults and youth. I'll make note that this SCVB is the only CVB in Illinois that books groups and makes their itinerary. Every single school group that comes through town, almost 2,000 of them, are booked through our office. Their itineraries for all their sites and attractions are booked through the SCVB. So it's quite a task. We do it for free. It's a service. We're very proud of that, especially being the capital city and be able to provide that service. As far as walk-in visitors to the SCVB office and the Springfield Visitor Center, through FY19, 4,254 visitors. Hold that number, we'll get that in just a second. You'll see that increase.
Scott, I know it's kind of like a bad question, but have you seen an increase since you've moved to, I guess it would be 6th and Adams?
We absolutely have, and a couple slides from now you'll see that, and you'll see quite the impact that the visitor center's had on Mule State Capitol Plaza. Some of our marketing accomplishments, so budgeting for outcomes, new programs, I think is really going to pinpoint this out, but I wanted to cover this. I know this chart, you're sitting there looking at this. I'm going to provide some details for the chart. On the sales end, this is what it cost us on the sales side. So in personnel, lead generator services, we just switched our lead generator service. Actually, we went to Nolan, which gives us the ability to see every meeting, not only in Illinois, but in Iowa, Indiana, Missouri. Any meeting that's taking place in any city, at any hotel, we can pinpoint it. So we're identifying what those meetings could best come to Springfield, and we're prospecting those meetings. So we just switched over from our old lead generator, it's whatever it was called, to this Nolan, which actually is a hotel-based software, and I think it has already made an impact. It's going to make a huge impact as we head into FY20. But registration fees as well for our sales, site inspection, bid presentations, digital proposal generator, where our sales teams, when they're making digital proposals, they have a template that they work with, and it includes sites and it includes stats, and so this is the 470,000 is all rolled up into that. Our CRM, lodging and transportation, all that rolled up for the sales team. We look at the services, 109,000. That's our service department. Booth fees, Survey Monkey. We want to survey our conventions coming in. Registration staff, welcome signs sleeves, and name badges, plastic bags for attendees. All that wrapped up, including, of course, personnel services is wrapped up there. And then the big one, the $1.2 million, the marketing. This is obviously personnel, brochure distribution, graphic fees, filming, media buys. That's a big one. Obviously, our media buys on the marketing end. We've been concentrating in Chicago, St. Louis, a little bit, dabbling a little bit in Indy. In FY20, we're going to change that. We've got about 500,000 in FY20. We're going to change that a bit. We're going to look at Iowa. We think Iowa is a big market for us, anywhere in that 300-mile radius from Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, Quad Cities, Dubuque. We had that radio call from Dubuque already, so we're going to change that focus a little bit. We're bringing our marketing inside the house, so our marketing is going to come inside, and so we're going to be able to focus on our print. We're going to go digital, a lot of digital in FY20. We got a proposal right now that is quite impressive. So we'll go more digital in FY20. These are our visitors guide printing as well, wrapped up into this, map sheet printing, lodging, transportation for those that are designated in the marketing. So that's a big category for us. History Comes Alive, that's the next bump up there. That is our main summer program. If you haven't been to History Comes Alive, please make it down between June and August, early June and early August, because we are going to have a History Comes Alive campaign, that we are going to have a marketing campaign for that this year. It's a 10th anniversary. This is the period actors that have programs throughout the day. It runs 6 days a week, and it's really our main summer program. We're going to put a lot of emphasis and a lot of our marketing dollars into that program, not only in FY20, but the following years as well. When we want someone thinking about Springfield in the summertime, we want them thinking about History Comes Alive, and that's a great program. Future promises and solutions, or future promises and subsidies, excuse me. These are the subsidies are what we use to attract conventions into town. So American Legion, Connect Specialty, FFA, Good Guys, Illinois Youth Ministries, Midwest Symposium. We have parking subsidies for certain conventions where we pick up their parking. Spirit-Filled Living 2019, VFW, WaterCon, etc. So that's all these wrapped up that we have made these promises to these conventions because, you know, every city needs to do that. We need to do more of it as well, coming down the pipeline. So these are the subsidies that we promised them. And then last one is the grant awards, and that's the local grants. And that's the municipal band, that's the Route 66 Mother Road Fest, Artists on the Plaza. Last year, DSI, obviously you saw that in BDC this year instead. So that's any of the local grants that are approved through the city. Any questions on that? Okay. As far as tourism levels and accomplishments, Springfield, the second most visited city in Illinois for international travelers. We participated, Jeff Bird, our tourism manager, who has 15 years of experience, participated in the Regent Street Motor Show in London this year, along with the Illinois Office of Tourism. And they were the title sponsor for the event and destinations along Route 66. They were there to promote the Mother Road to an enthusiastic crowd of over $550,000. That was a great event to be a part of. We were lucky to be partnered with the Illinois Office of Tourism for that, especially as we look towards Route 66. We host FAM tours, familiarization tours. Those are travel riders that are come in on a bus, and we provide an itinerary for them. We provide step-on service for them. They tour our city, and then they go back and write about it. So we have film crews, travel writers, bloggers, influencers. The amount that we have coming through here is staggering on really a daily basis. We have C-SPAN here for the last 4 days. We have to have a pinpoint person, a pinpoint department. So Jeff and the tourism department, they are our tourism outreach locally, and we need that so that people go back and they film and they write about Springfield. And then SCV has organized efforts in preparation for the Route 66 Centennial in 2026. And so we continue to prepare for that. Lincoln Hurd Law Offices, big opening this year. Got the visitor center open on November 24th, just before the start of the holiday walks. Since opening on November 24th at the Lincoln Hurd Law Offices, we've seen 1,300 visitors through January 2019 compared to 192 the same period the previous year. So overall, FY19, 4,200 for that entire year. This was just from November through January. You can see 1,300 to 192. We know that that number is going to grow. We're expecting 40 to 50,000 coming through the visitor center this year. We're also going to be able to use the visitor center for receptions, welcome receptions for our FAM tours, legislative, you name it. So we'll be able to use that space even more down the road. Our partners are our community. These are the people that we rely on every year in order to get things done. So I think you noticed at the end of last year, we had 3 partner updates go out. That tells you what the SCVB staff is doing on a monthly basis. Keeps you up to date. We have convention alerts that go out. We just had one a convention alert just go out. That tells our partners to get ready. You've got a convention in town. Open your doors, get ready for business, and get ready for some service and hospitality because we want these groups to come back. So we'll continue to send out those convention alerts. We partnered with the Springfield Marathon this year. We did the Run 217 shirts, Abe's Hat Hunts, huge program for us this year. We had 10 locations. We're nominated for Best Leisure Collateral and Best Marketing Campaign at the Illinois Governor's Tourist Conference in a couple weeks. So we're hoping to bring home some hardware there. We partnered with UIS Performing Arts. You can see there with the Nutcracker, Justin Moore at the BOS Center. We're doing a Price is Right with the UIS Performing Arts as well. the Globetrotters. So we're really trying to involve our partners, and that gets us over to get the city to 60. And in front of you have that card, and you also have a lapel pin in front of you, and that is get the city to 60%. Since 1992, we've come close a few times. We've been in the 59, 59.4, 59.5, but the city has not got to 60% citywide occupancy. Currently, we're about 54%. That 6% jump equals about 87,000 more room nights in addition to do what we're already doing to get to 60%. It's quite the jump. It's quite the task, for sure. But we know we're up to it. We need our partners to do it. So we have the Get to 60 out there, that campaign going, and then we have a Be a Tourist in your hometown. And we want everyone to get out, see your sites, tell people about it. Snap photos of yourself, put it online. You know, let's get the word out there. When's the last time you went to the tomb or to Lincoln's home? You know, let's get that out there. Let's have a tourist in our town. And then also, if you're away to a meeting somewhere else, why not have that meeting come home? So call our office and have that meeting come home. We'd love to host them in Springfield. So we have those two initiatives going on our partner side. And then as well, you know, hosting, partnering with concerts, the Blues and Barbecue, Legacy, Boondocks, the Hoagland, generating incremental leisure room nights. So whenever we partner with these people, then we send it out to our e-consumers, and we say, hey, why don't you come in, enjoy the Nutcracker, and also make a weekend of it. We had holiday walks going on. Why don't you come in and see a weekend? We can then go back to our STAR reports, our Smith Travel Research reports, and figure out if we made any difference that weekend that we were doing those promotions. So we need our partners to do that. They provide tickets for us. We do social media posts, and then we also zip it out to our e-consumers. FY20 budget. So going line item by line item, you can see that our personnel services up slightly, 1.7%. And again, that's given that we fill all of our positions. We have 3 vacancies right now, but slightly up. And again, that's in part because we've filled some positions as well as we ended FY19. Contractual services, FAM tours, shared services, subsidies, et cetera, down 11.97%. Some of that has to do with the timing of our grant expenses. Grant expenses are put in there. The state runs their grants, both on the expense side and their grant procedures July 1st, the start of the state's fiscal year. So we overlap just a little bit. And so I think you've seen this in the past, you've noticed in the past, because of that timing, sometimes the timing of our grant expenses are off and what have you. So that's why you really see that huge reduction. Our commodities are down 24.4%. That's primarily because instead of, we're combining visitors guides this year with the Capital City Visitor. So we're, instead of printing our own, we have a partnership with the Capital City Visitor. We're going to have one visitor's guide for the city of Springfield. It's going to be a lot less confusing. It's going to save us around $40,000 annually by printing our own guides. We'll have our own section in the Capital City Visitor, and it's going to be less confusing to the visitor, to the e-consumer coming to Springfield. So we're real excited about that. It's going to save us some money and then also make us more consistent in the community. Equipment, that was for the visitor center, so obviously we're not going to have it this year. Data processing, telecommunications, awards and grants. Again, that's the Mother Road Festival, Municipal Band. That's what we spent in the past. We're just estimating less in FY20. Permanent improvements, that big reduction is the visitor center. We spent the money for the visitor center to open up the visitor center. Obviously, it's open now. We're in a lease arrangement. We're not going to incur those permanent improvements loss again. So in the end, a decrease of 10.9%. Breaking out FY20 budget into the pie chart, you'll see that contractual services, personal services, travel, just a small part, awards and grants, et cetera. How it's really broken down from the pie. The budget variances, personal services increase, again, slightly, 22K. We still have 3 positions open. Contractual services decrease. Again, that's the grant expenses that will go into that line. and we'll even that out. Our commodities decreased 41K. We talked about that as far as the visitor center, or I'm sorry, the visitor's guide. Continuing on, awards and grants, decrease of 80,000 and permanent improvements 85,000. Cover those in the last. As far as our 2020 focus, conventions really will be our main focus in 2020. Our sales team will go out there. Conventions are our foundation. We have to have a foundation, a convention foundation. Leisure is very important to us, but leisure is so volatile, and it's got so many swings up and down, whether it's the economy or gas prices or whatever it may be. Conventions is what our foundation is built upon, and then we start building our leisure travel and going after new markets. So again, we said we were going to do that. The convention side, we're looking at medical. We really believe that we can get it, that Springfield can become a medical convention city. Associations, getting back to the association game. ISAE, we had a new partnership with them over the winter with a mystery merriment dinner that went over really well. We met at the visitor center and took a bunch of planners to a restaurant. So, we're getting back into that. So looking at motor coach as well. Motor coach will be a huge segment for us down the road. We've already received, Terry's been to NDA, the National Tour Association, where he's going to the American Bus Association this year. It's been 10 years since we marketed motor coaches. We get a lot of school group motor coaches, but not adult tour motor coaches. So it's been at least 10 years. We believe that we can have 200 motor coaches a year, adult tour motor coaches, those coaches that are heading to Nashville or Branson, stopping by, overnighting in Springfield annually. It'll take a couple years to get there, but we've already seen some early results of that. Compression, wherever we can create compression in the city, and this is mainly in the shoulder season. So we know when we're busy. We know we have a calendar. We know when the city's full. We're not trying to book over the top. The worst thing we can do is bring a convention in to a time when the city is already full, right? So our goal is to create compression throughout the city, wherever it may start, whether it starts downtown or it starts on the east side or it starts in south, wherever it may start, we create that compression by booking groups into those sections of the cities on shoulder times that then roll over that transient guest throughout the city. So compression, we'll see a lot about that. Communication, we've already started that. I hope you've seen an increase in the communication. And create authentic visitor experiences. That'll be key for us moving down the road. That will bring the retention. These conventions coming in town, creating customized collateral and providing unique services. And to the leisure traveler, we're going to triple our spend with Lincoln and Mary Todd. We want them more around town, more around the conventions. We had them at the inaugural. You'll see them around more because we know that the leisure traveler especially really appreciates that. When they come to Springfield and they see Lincoln and Mary Todd walking down the street, they can't help but take their picture, and they can't help but blast it out. So we want them around a lot more. So we'll be using them to provide those. And then on our motor coach side, either Lincoln or Mary Todd will provide a step-on. So when that bus pulls into town, rolls up, wherever it may be, and Lincoln steps on the bus and says, "Welcome to Springfield." Gives them a little spiel while they're getting their bags, if they meet at the hotel, if not at the site, and says, "Welcome to Springfield. I hope you go to my home, all of our sites, enjoy yourself and enjoy your visit." We think that's a great first impression. So we'll continue to create those unique experiences as well. Any questions?
Scott, you're bringing a lot of new energy and enhancing our talent to accomplish a lot. I thought that convention hit list is really useful. I've never seen that before in 8 years, where you inform us which conventions are in town and when. That's really useful and important information. The going to 60% year-around average hotel motel occupancy, that was one of the really dominant themes when you were being considered for directorship. And so it's really good to see that you're pushing that really strong. I think you indicated how much additional revenue the city gets if we go from 54% occupancy to 60%. What was that number?
$500,000
$500,000
in hotel tax revenue. Not just the economic impact, but just in hotel tax dollars.
Just in the hotel, motel tax dollars. And
It's
you're
about
also,
80,000 per 1%, give or take.
and you're also trying to increase the state approved spending on hotel, motel rooms.
That's correct. If JCAR approves it at the state level, that rate will go from $70 to $85, and we do expect that to happen. And that would start July 1st of this year.
And that creates additional tax, hotel, motel tax revenue.
That will be incredible for the city. We've waited too long, 15 years. That will float all of our rates up. We have about an $85 rate right now in the city. The state rate $70. That will float. That will automatically take it to 85. So all of our rates will be at least $85. I expect our average daily rate to be $95 or $100 in future years.
How long do you think it might take us to get to 60% average occupancy?
2021.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll say somewhere in 2021. We'd like it to be 2020. Now, I will tell you, 2020 is shaping up from a convention side and a group side to be a record year. So that would be surprising. To do it in 18 months would be a monumental task. I hate to go there, but certainly by the end of 2021. But we hopefully be building towards there. If we don't get to the 60% by then, building our occupancy so that we'll see some of that revenue.
I hope you can brief that, periodically during the year to see a decline taking place. That'd be great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I want to commend you on the motor coach conversations, because I know I've talked to you about that in the past, and a friend of mine told me that she used to take motor coach guides to different places that were not nearly as interesting as Springfield. So I'm glad to see that's going. Thank you.
I've had a couple of inquiries, and not now, but at some point, can you send us information on how entities that are not city-related can engage the Lincoln actors, portrayers, whatever you want to call them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Scott, my question is, when we're looking at the 1218 line on page 1, the 281,000, I got the explanation where the 500,000 was moved to 1226. That explains the change in the dollar amount.
Yep.
But the remaining 281, the notes here say that you're looking at a website upgrade for 150,000, graphic design for 35,000. In that website upgrade, we've talked about this before, where we've been behind technologically with, the people who are, the tourists, the people who come to town. Is part of this that we're trying to get it to where it's a mobile, where the website works on the mobile, or maybe we even have an app?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to be there. And, we've had multiple entities say that, our website is right now is what we should be focusing on. Obviously, we're focusing on the sales and the service, but, from a marketing standpoint, our website.
When people are here, they need to be able to use it. Everyone's done some traveling, and the places that have the app that you can download for the thing that you're doing seem to be the ones that get people's attention, because the app has the map, it shows where things are downtown. You could even, market to some of the different area businesses to see if they want to advertise on the app. I mean, there's things here that have potential. I just want to make sure that because I didn't see anything in the notes about app or mobile presence. So, and I also noticed that in one of the other, in the same line of thought, in that 1226 line on page 2, it says that we're not renewing with HIP.
Correct.
That's because we're going with in-house marketing now?
Correct. Mostly in-house marketing. We will look for some agencies. We've got a couple that we're receiving proposals from right now for a discovery and a marketing plan or an overall direction that we need to go. But at this point, we're looking from an internal marketing standpoint of taking over the marketing from an internal standpoint. So we may have some services from ad agencies, being sure we're in the right direction, but not actually going and doing everything or having a full service agency.
Right. Well, I just also want to stress on the app part of things. It needs to be Visit Springfield or whatever. It can't be part of the city app that a regular city resident would download. It needs to be something that is designed for the tourist to download. for the
Yeah,
visitor?
It's certainly, mobile is the way to go. I mean, everyone's doing everything on their phone, you know, when they're traveling. And if you look at the hotel bookings, you know, they're in the 80% now, you know, range for people that are, you know, booking mobile. And so, yeah, absolutely, there will be a mobile presence.
But it needs to be standalone. It needs to be tourism's.
Correct.
Director, doesn't the existing website, isn't it responsive, meaning it adjusts to whether it's on a PC or a mobile device? Isn't it already responsive?
It is optimized for, yes, it is optimized.
Because I think it's very clean and crisp, and I'm glad to hear, though, you're constantly looking at upgrading it. So.
Yeah, we certainly need to upgrade the front end immediately. The front end is way outdated. Please visit. I mean, it serves its purpose, right? But, you know, we certainly need to update it.
Thank you.
How do you share information with our visitors on all of the different interactive apps that the city has? Because I know there's one that guides you around downtown and tells you about all the downtown events, and then the one that the mayor talked about last night at DSI. And so is there a package or something that is available to visitors that may walk in either of the two visitor centers or you know, conventions that come in where you provide a packet? Is all of that somewhere in one place?
We won't be providing at the visitor center. As soon as we get through this Aware app, and we're just now, you know, rolling that out. So there will be information at the visitor center. We'll include it on our website. We'll include it on any e-consumer blast, the email blast that we do. So our social media channels. So we'll certainly have that out there on where they can get the information.
Okay, great, because I just found out about the one that gives you all the downtown events today.
Which one is that? Is that
It's,
the Ask Abe? No, okay.
I don't want to say yes or no, because I can't. All I know is that it tells you any events that are going on downtown, you know, like even if like a bar downtown is having a band or some kind of an event or something, just.
Our website has that.
It does.
I don't know the app.
Yeah, there's an app. I was at a meeting and someone was showing it to me, and I was all excited.
There is an Ask Abe app that is being pushed out there. It's not available yet, but is, I think, in the works.
Okay.
I think the real key is to drive them to a central site, and I think that's what Alderman Tylen's getting at, the Springfield site. That way you can track who's visiting and really gather the data. I would think that's crucial with marketing.
Some of our marketing in the past has been that it wasn't pushing. It was pushing directly to not our website, but it was pushing to whatever event website it was. So we want to direct them through our website, so then they can push out to the event sites or to the attraction sites or whatever. So that the mayor's exactly right. So that we can track them on our website, so we know.
I'm not tech savvy.
Look at you.
You're not?
Are there any other questions?
Scott, I just want to say, I think you're doing a fantastic job, and thrilled to have you, and thrilled to hear about all these new developments that are coming down. So thank you for your efforts.
Well, thank you. It's just not me. It's the team that I have. The team that we have at the SUDB is really incredible. And, you know, I traveled around the state for many years. I worked with other tourism bureaus, and no disrespect to anyone else, this is the best team in the state, hands down. We actually had somebody comment that on LinkedIn just this morning. So,
Scott, Director, it is appreciated. I mean, I can tell you haven't been around that long, but you've really pushed the concept of the team presence. You brought people on board. Some brought people back that have a lot of energy, and I think we're going to make some progress with your leadership. Thank you.
thank you.
And the real key to all of it was acknowledged at DSI's dinner last night is how everybody pulls together. I mean, that's crucial because we can do a lot more together than we do apart. That's essential, and that goes to the apps and everything else. I mean, because there's a lot of information out there. It'd be nice just to go to one location where you have all the events, have all the recreational areas, and all of that all at one site.
Thank you. Are there any more questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you.